All right, guys. So this shotgun barrel that I've got here, this is for a customer who I'm trading some work for. He's doing some stock work for me, and this is actually I'm going to strip and refinish these barrels for a customer of his. Oh, it's a 12 gauge side by side, and the barrels are in pretty decent shape. There's really only a little discoloration right here, but looking through it and whatnot, and when we get it stripped down, we'll see if there's any scratches or dings or anything, but and we'll take those out if need be. But for the most part, barrels are in pretty good shape. So first step, obviously, in this refinishing process is we're gonna strip all this finish off, all this bluing off and whatnot. So as we went over and discussed in the first video and the tools necessary and the prep work and what you'll need to strip these out, I'm going to use navel jelly in order to get this finish off, and that'll be the first step. So basically, say we've got to have our gloves, okay? Get some sort of vessel or container to hold your navel jelly and just fill it up, and this is basically how this is going to go, okay? You're just going to start stripping this on here, or painting this on here, okay? And what's going to happen is you'll work in small areas like this. And what will happen is that finish will start to come off, the existing finish. Now, if you got say, one of the newer type of firearms, Remington or something like that, particularly because I've done a lot of those, this finish will just literally, as you're painting it on, just come right off, okay? So normally what I'll do is I'll just let this sit here for a few minutes and let it do its magic, and I'll show you guys that when I come back. Okay guys, so we're back. I don't know if you can see this real well, but see how the finish is starting to strip off there. Now that's about 5 minutes or so of letting it just sit on there and do its thing. So that's kind of just what you got to do. You just got to put it on there. This is probably most likely a rust blue finish that's on it. So I'm not going to have to do a whole heck of a lot of prep work on this. Just basically have to try and get, just get it smoothed out enough, and because it's already been rusted once before. So the finish that I'm taking off really isn't a hot caustic type of finish. So anyway, that's basically what you're gonna do, just like that. I hope it comes up on the camera. You're just gonna put this on there and let it do its thing, and after about 10 minutes or so, you'll wipe it off. When you wipe it off, sometimes I like to use a fine steel wool to wipe it off, because that, when you put it on, it starts to turn kind of a gray on the metal, so I'll use a fine steel wool. Now, something I want to get clear is that this is not going to be like you're going to put this on and then you go, okay, cool, I can go ahead and reblue it. This is basically just to save you some time in taking the finish off, okay? You're still going to have to go through your progressions of sandpaper, your 150, your 220, your 360, your 400, whatever you're going to stop at. You're still going to have to go through and do that. You're still going to have to use a draw file to take out a pit or whatnot that might show up. Okay, and we'll go over all that in the next video of how to do that. But for right now, the first step in bluing your shotgun and getting your metal prepped for bluing your shotgun is going to be to strip off the old finish. And that's what this navel jelly does, okay? Saves you a lot of time, because if you do take it off with sandpaper, okay, one thing you have to understand is that you're going to put scratches in the metal when you're doing that, little scratches and finish, okay? Now, rust bluing is kind of forgiving in that you don't have to get every minuscule scratch out of the finish, okay? Rust bluing hides a lot of that, quite a bit of it actually. So in a way, the rust blue finish is a forgiving finish as well. But the process of bluing is not just painting this on, stripping off the old finish, and then bluing it. All this does is save you a little bit of time in taking off the old finish, and we're going to identify after the finish is stripped off, okay, where I got to draw file this out, and I have to put a little bit of sandpaper right here. This area right here is a little bit more than the other. So This is just the first step in the bluing process. We're trying to get the old finish off, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and finish stripping the rest of this and show you guys what it should look like when it's all stripped and ready for either your sandpaper or your draw filing. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. I'm not gonna film all that, but you know, I gotta keep these videos somewhat short. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now and then I'll get back. All right, guys. So this is stripped. This is not ready for bluing yet, not prepped out for bluing, but it is stripped. So this was a rust finished shotgun, so the process took a little bit longer than, you know, what I would have liked. I'm gonna have to make up for it on another area, but so this is basically what it's gonna look like, okay? It's gonna look something like this here. See how I still gotta get in when I go to really start standing this. I can strip this down a little bit more, this rib right here, get in there, and I'll show you a trick on how to do that. But this is basically how it's gonna look when it's been stripped down, okay? See, I've got most of the finish off. It's pretty much down into the white everywhere. We've got some areas where we're gonna go prep and whatnot. So I got a shadow here, but let me see if I can get over here. So when you get to this point right here, this is where you're going to pull back and you're going to look at the whole shotgun, okay? You're going to look at the whole, you know, rifle or whatnot. And this is when you're going to start identifying things like little tiny pits right here, okay? Right up in there, little tiny pits, you can't see those. And we'll go through in the next video on how to take those out. But this is basically what you're going to do right here. This has been stripped down and is ready for the next step, which is the sanding and draw filing if necessary, and getting ready for bluing. So this right here is where you guys are going to need to be, I'd say by close of business on Friday of this week. If you, whatever you picked out, whatever you're going to blue, that's great. Like I said, I hope it's a bolt action rifle, you know. If you decide to do a shotgun or something like that, that's fine too. Just know that to be pretty close to, or I guess up to date with the class and not falling behind, you're going to need to be in this position right here by Friday. Okay. So this position, right, with this stripped out and whatnot, ready for sanding, ready for prepping out for bluing is where you're going to need to be. Because I'm going to have the tanks going on week 3. Your project's not due till week 5, but by week 3, I'll have the tanks going for those of you that are ready. Okay. So this is it. This is where you need to be. That's how you strip it out. And the next video will be on sanding, prepping the metal, getting ready for bluing. All right? All right, guys.